And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
I'm pretty new to Abraham, and I have a pretty strong desire. And I'm wondering how to get momentum going to get back into full health.
Well, we have a question we'd like to ask the sensing people in this room. So when you heard her say she has a strong desire, did it feel to you like at the moment of saying that she felt like she's on the beat of it or apart from it? It's interesting, isn't it? It's like when I have a really strong desire, often the very statement is saying to the universe, please help me with this thing that I'm not getting. And that's the problem with strong desires. They sort of work against themselves, or it works against you. So we want you to find a way, and we'll help you, of softening the gap between what you want and what you've got. If we can help you to see that what you've got in terms of manifestation may be off the mark from what you want, but that what you've got in terms of your vortex is not off the mark at all. Does that make sense? What you've got might seem off the mark in terms of what's manifested, but what is in the vibrational reality, that's right on the mark. The wellness or whatever it is that you're seeking is already there. So that sort of begs the question then, well then, should I look at what I've got, or should I look at what's in the process of becoming? Should I look at what's gestating, what's unfolding, what's becoming? That really is the secret, isn't it? It's a secret to allowing anything to blossom fully. And so it's helpful to say things like, because there's usually the question, well, how did I get there? How did I get to this unwanted place? Well, wasn't paying attention, didn't know what to look for. Like so many people, had my head in a sort of different game, but now I know that it's an emotional awareness. Once something has physically manifested, it's harder to not notice it because people are taking score of it and so forth. But that really is the key. Notice it less and notice the vibrational desire, which is in the process of becoming more. It really is as simple as that. You just kind of have to figure out how to let yourself do that more of the time, how to worry less and focus more, and be happy and not worried and things like that. The best encouragement is get off the subject. So if you can get off the subject and focus upon the other things that allow you that alignment. And is a really important time to say this: you could have several things that you want that you're not worried about, and one thing that you want that you are worried about. If you could focus upon the things that you're not worried about, all the things you want will come about. Here's another more negative way of saying it, but it gets your attention. You could have only one thing you're worried about and focus on that and mess up all the other things that are already working, because the receiving mode is the receiving mode. So whatever it takes to get there. Last week we were visiting with a man and we said, okay, you give us a negative word and we'll give you the positive word on the other side of it. Well, first we said, we'll give you our version of your negative word. So he said worried, and we said disconnected, and he said angry, and we said disconnected. Didn't matter what word he gave, we said disconnected. Of course, the remedy is get connected, get connected. Then we said, now give us the negative words again and we'll give you the remedy. So he gave us the word or the situation, and we said meditate, and he gave us another word, and we said meditate, and he gave us another word, and we said meditate, because that is a simple answer. Because when you quiet your mind, we love you so much, you know what's coming next. It's easier for us to teach most of you meditation than it is pure positive thought, because you're not used to pure positive thought. So when you think about most subjects, you usually go negative, especially the things that you really care about. So when you meditate, you quiet your mind. When you quiet your mind, you stop your thought. And when you stop thought that's working against you, then your cork floats. Really, really, really. You have trillions of cells that have direct relationship with your inner being and with source. And if you can just get out of the way, they'll communicate. How do you know you're out of the way? You feel satisfaction. How do you know you're in the way? you're worried about something. Most people who have health situations didn't get there by worrying about health. They got there by worrying about something else, and the cell communication was just the result of the interference. This makes perfect sense to you, doesn't it?
It does. I think meditation is something, I'm glad that you described it more to the fellow before, because for me, I do it every morning for 10 minutes. I should do 15.
Often it might take you 13 or 14 minutes to settle into quieting your mind. So you might only be in a state of quieted mind for a minute or 2 or 3, but that's enough. And if you don't get there, don't force it. Just get up and get about your day, because it's sort of like wanting to sleep and not being able to sleep. And the more you think about needing to sleep, the more you stay awake. Well, meditation sort of works that way too, when you realize you're not getting there. But do you know what a successful, from our point of view, relative to what we're talking about here, meditative state feels like? It feels like detachment. When you're really there, you will have a physical realization that feels different. You'll feel different in your body. Esther described it as she couldn't tell which was her nose and which was her foot. She was just sort of like a block of beingness that all felt the same. Or you don't feel the chair beneath you. You're just detached. And often if you're really there and you're able to stay and enjoy it for a minute or 2 or 3 or 5, 10, you will be the receiver of the impulses of non-physical. So those blocks of thought that your inner being is sending often cause really soft, satisfying movement within you. Nothing jolting. You find your head moving, and when your eyes are closed, sometimes it feels like flying, but it's just soft sensations. It's your inner being guiding your body, and you being in such the receiving mode that you are feeling those easy. And sometimes then an alignment process starts taking place. Your body will be moved just in a way to sort of move some energy into a place that you haven't been allowing it before. You'll actually feel your physical apparatus stretching and moving, even when you're in a sitting position, as the muscles and tendons in your body are being guided from that broader perspective, you see. And if you give too much conscious attention to it, you may become self-conscious. So don't get carried away with it. That's why it's usually soft and slow. But what it is, it's your inner mind communicating with your physical apparatus and you allowing it to happen. That's what a really successful meditation feels like. And then once you're there for a little bit, blocks of thought will begin to come, and you'll find yourself thinking thoughts. And at first you'll think, who's thinking this thought? Well, you're receiving it. Never mind who's thinking it, you're receiving it. But you can tell by the way the thought feels. It could be completely off topic of anything that you think is important. You know, sometimes you have to get way off a topic to get into a positive place. In Esther's meditation, you're going to laugh, she started moving furniture around in her mind. Hadn't thought about that in a long time. Suddenly she's thinking about moving furniture. Oh, it sounded so fun. And it sounded heavy. And then she thought about somebody helping her move furniture. And she's thinking, oh, this is deep stuff I got going on here. Moving furniture. Furniture's heavy. I'll call 2 men in a truck. We're not kidding. Guided to the specifics from one pleasant thought to another, to another, to another, to another. So moving furniture is the first conscious awareness that she's having in her meditation. And then a sort of way to go about it. And so then she came out of meditation and she went right to the computer and looked them up and placed the call. And it was just in a period of about 12 hours, it moved all the way out to a most joyful manifestation. It doesn't take time. It just takes alignment. And we know these situations don't feel comparable to you, but they are.
So it's just that meditation.
Yes, for this reason. Getting ready, to be 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 ready. And by all these readies to be ready, to be ready, we don't mean to make it look like it's a big deal. It isn't. It's just satisfaction, 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 satisfaction. Yeah, that's all. Have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before you begin, we want to insert something important, and that is a soft desire is so powerful. Just a soft, subtle intentionality. The softer it is, the less